Jonathan Chandler coming to you from the Virginia School of Traditional Arts. Got a little horticulture project going on today. We're going to plant some Japanese maples in some pots. I ordered these off Etsy. I'll leave you all that information below, where I got them, how much they cost, that kind of thing. These were approximately 30 bucks a piece, 29, 28, something like that. They shipped really fast. I asked them specifically if they were planted by seed or cuttings or some other propagation method, and they said these were seedlings, so we'll see what that means to them. If it's planted by a cutting, we'll see the remains of the cutting. If it's planted by a seed, we shouldn't just see roots. We shouldn't see a blunt end on this, so we'll see what they look like. My intention with this is to do a few bonsai trees just to have around to look cool. And Japanese maple is kind of your traditional bonsai tree. These are very small. I'm just going to plant them in a pot for the moment till I figure out what I want to do with them. I may plant them in the ground later, but just for the next couple of weeks I'm going to have them in this pot so we can see if they're going to take off and live. It's the fall of the year, so you're seeing a little bit of color on the leaves, and so this is what they came boxed in. Looks like this. Relatively nice packaging. They didn't come broke up or anything. It has soil around it and a little bag and a nice tag that tells you what it is. And if you open the little bag, it looks like this one. Has a little pot in it. And what I have done first is I have dipped this entire pot down into a bucket of water and just let the water drain through, just to give it a little drink before we plant it. So I'm in my metal shop tonight. And these actually arrived yesterday, and my wife just opened the box and let them breathe a little bit, but I was gone, so I couldn't plant them. And so that's what it looks like. This is our pot we're going to use to plant it in, is this tall pot. We're giving it right much room to grow, and so that's what we're after, is it to put on some limbs and leaves and different things and grow out here and get our trunk fatter is our goal, is to get the trunk fatter. The easiest way to get the trunk fatter is to plant it in the ground, and we'll probably end up doing that eventually, but we're just, for temporary, we're going to put it in this bigger pot. And I want to see if these are actually grown from seed or cuttings. So it has been growing in this little pot, because you can see the roots growing through here. When I first saw this little pot and the soil was kind of loose on the top of it, I was thinking, well, they've just pulled this out of the ground and chunked it into the pot, which is okay, I guess. But we're going to see if the roots, just going to tease the roots here a little bit, and we're going to find the biggest root and find if there's a blunt end on the bottom of this. If there's a blunt end, it's a cutting and not coming from a seed. And a cutting is less desirable for a bonsai. Not that you can't use cuttings for bonsai, but just less desirable. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. I'll try to zoom in on it. But it appears to be a taproot coming off the bottom, which is what we expect. And then it forks, and there's no blunt end anywhere that I can see right here. So I would say they are correct. It's not a cutting, it's grown from seed. And so we're just going to not mess up the roots anymore, and we're just going to plant them down in here. And I'm going to plant them fairly tall up in this pot, because I want the plant itself to shoot off stems from down here, and I may even trim this back a hair once it gets established in this pot a little bit. couple of weeks and trim this top off, and that'll make that bottom thicken up faster and branch more. I've got to get a little more soil and put around it. Said I'm gonna work on some of these roots here, and we're going to get him down to where he's actually where the main roots are, which are, I could feel them right there. And we're going to put some soil around here to stabilize them. But we're not going to bury the trunk a whole lot, just a little tiny bit, because we want those roots to stay at the surface if we can, at least for a little while. Alright, so that's our tree planted. And I may plant, I've got two more, I may plant both of them in one of these lower pots because I'm just slack on soil right at the moment, just for a day or two until I get some more soil. But this pot would hold this tree at least another year if... Alright, tear a little bag off. This is how it came. Has a rubber band and a piece of plastic around it. That's good to keep the soil in. That worked good. And we're going to take some water and dump right in the top of this. Fill it completely full a couple of times. I just want to get that soil that these tree roots are in good and wet, because I don't want it to be, the soil here to be drawing moisture out of it. This soil is damp as well, and so we're going to just see what we got here. And I'm just breaking the soil up ever so slightly. Got a root up here high I don't want. Probably don't use your best scissors for this. We're just going to take off this little tiny, I don't know if y'all can see it, I'm all black here. Little tiny root that's up high on the stem. So I'm just going to take him off and get down to these. See, this is where the roots really start, right there on that stalk right there. And so this is a nice big root, and it's heading down, so I'm going to take him and put him out to the side. And then we're going to put two trees in this pot, so I'm going to keep them on one side than the other. And we got to set him up a little bit more. Alright, there's one of them. We'll get the other one. The other one. And again, we're going to run some water through him just to make sure they're good and wet. Alright, we're going to pop him out here. Kind of go over him a little bit, see what his roots look like. Again, here's one up high, I don't like that, so I'm going to get rid of that. It's right there. So we're just going to trim him off. Might get him a little bit closer. And so we got a nice set of roots in here. We're just going to take those and turn those out. And we're basically planting these right on top of the ground. So that's the idea of what we're doing, so that they'll spread out. Now we took the other one and put them down in the the pot because it was a taller pot. But these, we basically pointed the roots into the center of the pot and just covered them up a little bit. And this will be just a temporary pot until I can get some more soil and some more pots more suitable for these. But this would be the way you would plant it in a bonsai pot, kind of look close to the top like that. And this is just normal potting soil. I did put a little bit of charcoal, kind of where I have a burn pile that I burn my different brush and wood and different things, leaves. It doesn't have to be anything particular, but that adds a little acidity to it, that adds a little nutrients to it. I'm going to let these gel up in these two pots for about a week, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to trim off the tops and start training these things to be a little bit more curvy. But I'll give them a week or so to gel up. I hope you've enjoyed this one about the starting of a bonsai tree. Hopefully one day it'll be a bonsai tree. Right now it's a Japanese maple, and that would look great in your yard. And this is my method of just repotting them temporarily. And I'll probably, if I'm going to really make these bonsai trees, I'm probably going to plant them in the ground for at least like 2 or 3 years. And then they'll grow really rapidly and the trunks will get bigger. And then we can restructure them a lot and make them a true bonsai at that point. Bonsai is a long process, but it's not necessarily a hard process. It just takes you some time to get your trees to reasonable shape. You can make bonsai out of a skinny tree, and you can take this tree here and put it into a bonsai pot, but it will never, the girth of it will never do what you expect it to do. The way they get those great big trees is they've grown those trees in the soil, in the dirt outside for many years, and then they've put it in a pot. They didn't grow it in that pot. So that's a beginning bonsai mistake, is to put a little tree in a pot and think it's going to get to a big tree. It doesn't do that. So just a little food for thought. If you've liked this one, hit the like and subscribe. We're at over 500 subscribers. I'm going to do a giveaway here in another week or so when I'm going to make a knife and film that, and we'll give the knife away for our 500 subscriber prize. And when we get to 1,000, we'll do something else. But so far we're doing good. Got 500. We'll give you the contest details in the next video or so that you'll know what to do. See you on the next one.